All right, good morning. Today we'll be starting a series on there's Pokemon Agent Speedrun going on. It runs until the end of October, so there's about 45, 50 days left in the track. There are two different tracks going on. This one is mostly focused on having the agent speedrun the game Pokemon Emerald. They give you a GitHub repository here to start with. It contains all the basics to get you started, and you'll see as we go through here. You can run it on OpenAI, you can run on Gemini, Claude if you wanted to. You're able to set it up however you want. If you're like me and you're on Windows, I actually recommend installing Ubuntu. So if you have that here, um, there's a couple steps to go through it, but it makes life a lot easier. I tried setting it up on Windows, and some of the functionality just isn't there or not done in an easy way. So as always, the first step is to go ahead and clone the repository into your local device. So if it shows it here. So um, in Ubuntu, I just clone the repository. You'll see it'll add this PokeAgent speedrun directory. Then you'll want to set up a local environment. They recommend Conda. It's fine if you use VNVev or PyNV. They're basically it's all the same. It's just Conda has some of the function or some of the libraries that are a little bit easier to get and run. And then, for example, like I said, for mGBA, you'll want to run or want to be on Ubuntu or Brew, which is Mac, to get these installed. On Windows, this was the part that hung me up, and it just took a long time. And then I still couldn't actually get it running. It wasn't worth losing basically a day or two of progress. For the reason why they recommend Conda is because of the this package here, libffi, and then this new version has the Tesseract, so that way you can actually read the dialogue on the screen, which you'll see when we actually go ahead and run the agent, and then the rest of the dependencies, which are part of the. One of the things that you will need to do is obtain your own ROM file, and you will need to put it into the directory. So if you see here, I have the directory. I go here. I have my ROM file put in here. This will not be in uh, the code base that you download. You have to obtain it. Do their simple Google search. You can go ahead and find it. And then when you do, just check the hash to make sure you've got the right ROM file, because depending on the version that you have, there are different memory addresses. And that may lead to some of the functionality not working correctly. For that, like I said, it's about which LLM you want to choose to support it. So if you're using ChatGPT and you have their key, you can go ahead and set those up here. You just need to set your environment variable. Same thing if you're using OpenRouter, which gives you basically whichever model that you wanted more easily. You don't have to worry about having um, a different API key. You just have your single OpenRouter key, which gives you access to those. Um, and then Gemini is here as well. If you're participating in the contest, you can actually get some credits for Gemini from the contest providers. You just have to show that you are actively working on it, and you can submit it in here. You can see here, yeah, about 50 days left. So they get the repository, and then, like I said, you can get the compute credits as well. So you can also use local Hugging Face models. So you download these directly. A lot of them are here in this Transformers package. And then what I'm actually doing is I'm going and running local, or sorry, I'm not running local. I'm running Olama, which they don't show here, but it's basically very similar in terms of the command to run it. So if you have Olama, you can go and download different versions of the model. Previously, I've been using Quinn 2.5. This is when we started about a month ago. The most recent code update was earlier this week, so it's a good time for people to join. I spent a lot of time trying to get the memory reader to work correctly, but wasn't able to crack that nut. So it seems like they were able to get that updated. So if I scroll back a little bit here, You can see, yeah, this was Quinn 2.5. It's a little bit smaller model, but you can go ahead and run it. Like I said, the only difference here is that the backend will be Olama, and then you need to specify the model name that you have installed locally. So we're actually going to go ahead and we're going to make changes for this just here because we're going to try and use the Gemma 3.0. We'll use the 4 billion version. The reason why we're doing this is it's fairly lightweight, and then as soon as you get everything installed and get off of the command, you'll actually see it will load the window here. You can see we haven't made any changes to the prompts that we're doing so far. We'll come back around to that another time. The idea here is just to get this up and running and see what actually is happening. So hope here is that it will pick up that we are on the start screen. So let's see. Mhm. Okay, so the memory reader didn't work. This is the functionality that they were trying to update. Same thing for myself as well. Let's see. It goes through, triggers the main prompt here, but it looks like this part is not working. It didn't get a response. This is what was sent over. The Alama usually has a port that should be specified. Yeah, I wonder if this is what's missing. So if we wanted to test another Ubuntu, so I know this is so it did get a message back. Now let's change this to Gemma 3 billion. Do the same thing. Perfect. So we know that the process will work. And you can just see here the difference between the two models, right? 58 tokens versus the 21 from before. It does get quite a bit back, right? We only gave it 10 tokens in the prompt to give us 58 back. Something to keep in mind when you're running the larger models is we provide much larger prompts here, right? And expect a large amount of tokens to be consumed very quickly with this here. So we confirm that it's working, but it's probably that I need to add a port here. Let's go, where's agent? Yeah, I need to know what port. Okay, so that is web server. Let's see if there's anything around Olama. Let's go back through here. Did it say failed to initialize agent? Okay. So the issue's on our side. It's not getting a response. Let's try and find where this is. So that's not here. Which one were we at? We were at visual, so perception. Info showing no response. Let's see what's happening. See, this is where it stopped, right? VLM. Wow. Open folder. That we want to be. Can't open it easily. Right, like here. Utils, VLM. Right, so it runs VLM get query. Processes an image and text prompt. And so it passes. This is it's an Olama, basically embedding the image. And then calls the completion. We'll call it from here. Right here. Where's port coming from? This is the part that's wrong. Because the port for Olama is actually 11434. So we'll save that, then go through here. We're going to close this. Just restarting the same thing. We also got the retry request. I don't know where my log goes to. That's not helpful. All right. Logs. Yeah. The previous one, let's see. The NVF code. It's agent step. Yeah, step 2. Step 1. Hit M. So if I control it, it works. Go to step 1. Queued for process. Okay. We change this here. So if I back that out, so it did V1, right? And then it's supposed to try and run chat completions. Chat completions. So it was sent along with no additional information, right? We see this here. Game site's title. We see that here too. Let's back this out. I'm gonna go here, mash, a, skip the, we're just saving that. I want to see if it comes through differently. We're gonna just, we'll pass it, but still not getting through there. So it's supposed to be here. We know when we called this, it worked. If I try the 8010, doubt this will work. Connection refused. Right, and we changed it here to the 11434. Wonder if it's still the only place in localhost, right? And then it passes model name right here and passes the message, which should be what I'm seeing is we didn't even make it that far, right? We saw here log. Let's see. Session ID, log file. If I put an extra step here, it never got to here, right? Reception step is supposed to go get query, right? But we don't even see that in the log, right? We'll make sure we get this one. So the 3, we are. So when it steps start, I just want to look for info. We got a logger. Interaction logging initialized, right? We see this here. We see queue agent step. It goes ahead and we see this here, right? Agent step 1. And we see queued for processing. I think there's going to be an issue, right? So we saw chain queued and then state snapshot. Here's the state snapshot, name. We created a log here. Logger get logger, right? So it should be fine. And then logger.info. In the agent folder. Right here. Hmm. The logger's not actually putting the information in, so I can't know what it is that's actually going to the LLM. And then I'm seeing the chat completions. Not this one. It's supposed to be going here, right? And I was trying to find where is this line from. So we're in the perception agent. It's passing it. We're in VLM, which is this one here. VLM. Nothing to do with perception. These are the lines we're seeing here. It passes these. It then goes to the prompt here. See context length. It goes and gets stuck here. So frame. VLM get query. Passes frame, which is image. Passes the system prompt and the perception prompt. Then if there is an image, convert it. Let's do this. I'm gonna come here. We just want to know that it hit here, right? Each of these. I'm gonna put a big break between these, just so that we can come back to them easily, delete them out. Now we're gonna rerun. We just want to see, is it actually going to the Olama backend or is it doing something else? It's not, because we didn't hit any of our endpoints. Is anything in here call open AI? Yeah, underscore module name here is going to be hit in base client. Yep. So base client isn't here anywhere though. There's multiple get queries, right? Yeah. Okay. Unfortunately, I'm out of time today. Some more time, probably tomorrow, to get back in here. We'll figure out what's going on with running the Olama libraries. Not actually hitting our Olama endpoint. Looks like it's trying to go to OpenAI. We know that's not correct. Or shouldn't be doing that. Back to perception here. Let's pick up here for our next one. So for those of you who are watching this, thank you. We will continue working on this series over the next 50 or so odd days. The goal here is to get it so we can have an agent. You get 6 hours for the purpose of the contest for the agent to run, try and get as far as we can. So once we've got these working, we'll be doing chunks like that. So we'll kick off the stream with like some of the work, and then we'll let the process run out for those 6 or so hours. So hopefully we can get this working. That'll be our focus for the next couple of days, just trying to get this up and running using local models or Olama models and see what we can get from there. Thank you again, and I'll see you next time.